bitcoinsoul.org, SEOUL.org. Let's do a NEO and MCO update all together because there's so much drama. I don't know how many of you were here 6 months ago, 2 months ago. It's only been 2 months when it was perfectly normal to have DGB go up 400-500% in a couple days, to have SIA coin go up 600-700% in a couple days, to have library go up 400-500%. Everyone was super calm. You know what we did? We'd put our money in, we'd buy it, and then we'd just go to sleep. And then when we'd wake up, we wouldn't turn on our iPhones and smartphones and check if we lost all our money. We would just go to breakfast and just know that while we were eating breakfast, we're making hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of dollars just over breakfast. We'd know that because it was so normal to make a shit ton of money on altcoins just a month or two ago. Any of you OGs out there, you want to verify this for me? So that was super normal. And then we had about a month and a half of downturn, of bear market, where most everybody lost most everything. And so now, the very first coin that goes supernova, the very first coin that goes, to the moon, everyone's super on edge. No way. It can't gain 80% in value in just 2 days. That's impossible. SIA coin, DGB, library, Stellar, Steam, all these coins, they all did it. 300-400% in a couple days. 600-700% in about a week or two. So this is normal. This is totally normal. And so unless there's a scandal, right? Unless there's a really weird, come to find out that the developers of a certain coin were actually spies from, I don't know, from Kazakhstan, and there really was no development and all. If that happens, then the value just drops. But how far does it drop? What if the actual developer is a total fraud? I'm talking just like intentional robber, just intentional thief. How far does a coin drop? Look at QRL. It only dropped to half. It only dropped to half. And it turns out that the developer's fine. The developer's an awesome dude. The developer's a really strong-minded, super smart genius with no fraudulence at all. Just a really nice guy. That happens to be a super genius, so maybe he doesn't communicate as well as he could with his staff. It turns out it was just nothing. And it lost only half its value, and it's starting to regain its value. And by the way, you should buy QRL, just so you know. Oh, and QRL, you asked me, and I sent you that private message. You really need to change your branding. It shouldn't be quantum resistant ledger because it sounds too narrow. It sounds like you're just being defensive. It sounds like what you're trying to do is just solve one tiny little problem. It's very defensive. It's not proactive. Go for quantum ready ledger. Quantum ready ledger. Do that. And all of a sudden you're just like, whoa, here's the only coin that's ready for the future, for quantum computing. You see what I mean? So even if there's a huge scandal, you only lose half your money. And like I said, SIA coin, library, Stellar, Steam, DGB, you 4 times, 5 times that. And it's normal. If you want to change your life, like instantly, you just got to get used to it. You just got to be okay with, okay, well, I lost half my money, honey, but tomorrow I'll have 3 times as much as I had the day before today. So just kind of get used to it. Okay, so let's deal with some of the fundamentals of NEO and MCO. Eventually, eventually somebody, right? Somebody's going to have their coin linked with Visa. Eventually, somebody's going to do that. Whether MCO does that by the 1st of September or not, doesn't make that much of a big of a deal, because you know what their announcement could say? Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, what do you think MCO is going to say? Oh, sorry, we failed. We talked to Visa, and Visa said, screw you, MCO. You think MCO is going to come out with a press release that says that? No. Worst case scenario, MCO is going to go, yeah, we're having conversations with Visa, and it looks good. We don't have anything conclusive yet, but maybe next week. Or best case scenario, they'll say, yeah, you faithless losers, doubters. We've had this Visa deal in the bag for a week and a half. We just wanted you to sweat. That's best case scenario. If that happens, your MCO doesn't go up fivefold like it's planning to do based on the Elliott wave right now. If that happens, your MCO goes up 20 times. It would be the very first coin to connect with a payment processing service that's backed by the US government. So that'd be pretty awesome. So worst case scenario is really good. Worst case scenario with like total fraud, like QRL, the accusation of fraud, which turns out to be more fraud than the accusation of fraud, you lose half your money. Medium case scenario, yeah, we're meeting with Visa, and they said it's going to take more time. Best case scenario, we're meeting with Visa, and they said stop meeting with us because the deal's done. We're connected to Visa. So those are the options. From a investing standpoint, worst case scenario is probably going to lose you 30%, maybe 20% of your money. Okay scenario is going to lose you maybe 10% of your money. Best case scenario is going to gain you 20 times. So 2,000% your money. Is that worth it? Is that worth it? You go to Vegas, right? You go to Las Vegas. Chances are you're going to lose 100% of your money. Or you're going to make, or you do the lotto. You do the lottery. Chances are you're going to lose 100% of your money. Yeah, to be realistic, it's more like 99.99999% chance that you'll lose your money. And then what you're trying to do is leverage that 0.00001% to make $1 million, right? Those are the odds that you're playing. Ridiculous odds. Never do those odds. They're dumb odds. It's like gambling, or it's like playing the lottery. But this, worst case scenario, you lose 30% of your money. Best case scenario, you gain 20 times your money. Is it worth the bet? I mean, do I have to spell it out for you? It's do the math. It kind of looks like it's worth the bet. Okay, so that's MCO. NEO. China is maybe regulating ICOs, which would put a crimper on NEO. So NEO's price went down. Who was around when China tried to regulate Bitcoin exchanges? Who was? Remember that when China said that they would put a law on, and then still, and still, I just blanked on his name. He's on Twitter. He was the CEO of a major Chinese Bitcoin exchange, and he's not anymore. What was his name? The biggest Chinese Bitcoin exchange. Anyway, just tag him for me, will you? You know who I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm trying to remember his name and I can't. So, what's China going to do? Is China going to say no ICOs because ICOs are hazardous, dangerous to our citizens? When was the last time China cared about its citizens? America cares about its citizens. It actually does. America does. It sounds strange. I'm an American. It sounds strange coming from me, but America kind of does with all those regulations and SEC regulations and all that. China? China is the kind of country that says, screw fair competition. We're going to put you out of business if it's advantageous for China. Which is what's happening with all the mining companies, which is why Wu Jihan is behind everything. And you're welcome to tag Wu Jihan on this too. He's I don't like him, but I respect him a lot. So what do I mean by that? China has different branches of government, just like every other government in the world, right? So if China says, if one branch of Chinese government says, hey, we're considering regulating ICOs because they're dangerous and they're financially violent for our Chinese citizens. Okay, that's a fair position for a branch of the Chinese government. China creates the worst smog in the world. Just Google smog, nanoparticulate smog. Google that, nanoparticulate smog. It actually reduces the lifespan of the Chinese people by 20 years. 20 years, not 2 years, not 20 months, it's 20 years. Little babies are born with skin diseases, skin disorders. Your nervous system gets blocked. Alzheimer's comes from all this nanoparticulate dust that China, guess what? Because China cares so much about its citizens, protecting its citizens, it's going to allow all this nanoparticulate dust to emerge from Chinese factories so that Chinese factories can rake up all the manufacturing dollars and increase the GDP of China and the trade balance of China to where Japan is almost at risk of losing the number 2 spot of being the world's biggest exporter. You see where I'm going with this? If you're an economist and you want to just further elaborate this on tweets, you're welcome. Please do. Please. I'm not going to go into this. Suffice it to say that China doesn't care about protecting its citizens. And stopping the ICO craze would be protecting its citizens. What China would rather do is increase its would rather increase its decrease its debt and increase the amount of money China as a country has so that it can increase its arsenal of weapons. Now I'm getting macroeconomic and political, right? But you have to, because this is how the Chinese government thinks. If you compare China's arsenal of weapons to America, if America and China had a war right now, what do you think would happen? Any West Point grads out there? Any economists or political theorists out there? What do you think would happen? China's fleet, I think China has one battleship. China has one battleship. That's why it got so upset when THAAD came into Korea, because all of a sudden China has this, just on its borders, some kind of weird American high-tech thing that it can't do anything about, that just peers into all of China. So if you don't know what that is, Google that too. But and again, any of you political theorists out there, please leave comments. What I'm saying is, China doesn't care about its citizens. Stopping ICOs would be caring about its citizens. So what's China going to do? The different branches of government are going to fight, as branches of government do. And then China is going to come to a decision that, well, if we allow ICOs, we're going to have a bunch of dumb Americans and dumb Koreans. I bring up those two countries because not because Americans are dumb or Koreans are dumb. Americans are very smart, and Koreans are very, very smart. I bring up those two countries because those are the two countries that invest most in ICOs. That's why. And from the Chinese point of view, if you make an ICO, you're going to think, well, it's easy money. So that's why I said what I said. Anyway, let me rephrase that. Easy money from America, easy money from Korea. We're going to be rich, and then China's going to be rich, and so you bring that up to the Chinese parliament. Is that what they call? Anyway, you bring that up to the party, the ruling party in China, and the argument's clear. Here's the Chinese version of the SEC. We should protect China. And then here's the Chinese version of industry and commerce, different departments, and they're talking to Xi Jinping. And they both have their arguments, and this one branch says, this branch says, if we do an ICO, it's going to hurt Chinese people. They're going to lose money, and we're going to have lots of social unrest. Okay. What about you? Division of Commerce and GDP-ness. I can't edit that, can I? Well, if we do ICOs, yes, Chinese people will spend lots of money and lots of Chinese people will lose money too. But for every one Chinese person that loses money, there's going to be 5 Americans and then 7 Koreans. So Xi Jinping is going to look at this and go, I vote you. That's what's going to happen. So, NIO, the FUD is a great thing because I believe in NIO. It's going to go far. And now that I'm making a shit ton of money on MCO, as soon as it's done, making me shit tons of money, I'm going to buy more NIO. Tons more NIO. That's it. If anything changes, if any of this is wrong, or if the world changes, but the world never changes, right? There's never any new factors, and then what we'll do is we'll release the information first in the Asian Whale Club, which is now full, and you can't get in.